They claim the truth sets you free, but for Teddy Campbell, it didn't liberate him, it completely demolished his entire household. Picture staring into the soul of the kid you raised, the girl you shielded, the life you crafted, only to be informed by your own relatives, she isn't yours. In a Hollywood where industry cover-ups are casual, Warryn Campbell just detonated a radioactive scandal that didn't merely break social media, it crushed a mother's soul. He didn't pull up with whispers, he arrived with receipts. Ice-cold, certified, undeniable paperwork that wiped out Teddy Campbell's title as a dad in one single, soul-shattering split second. The look on his face. Not just panic. That was the literal sound of a man's sanity finally snapping. But the most haunting visual, the one that will forever live rent-free in your mind, is the precise moment Tina Campbell's entire universe dissolved into ash. To watch a woman of that caliber, that deep devotion, literally drop dead to the floor under the massive weight of a deception too heavy to hold. As she hit the deck, reality checked in. Their household wasn't just fractured, it was flatlined. But the messy riddle that is stressing everyone's timeline tonight. Did he secretly know? Was he playing along with a charade, or was he the ultimate casualty of a stab in the back so deep, there is zero recovery? Grab your popcorn, because today, we aren't just reacting to a messy rumor. We are watching the messy, tragic funeral of the famous Campbell dynasty as we used to know them. To comprehend the sheer scale of this dramatic disaster, you must understand their connection. Teddy Campbell wasn't just a guardian on paper, he was a dad down to his core. For decades, the public followed him and Leah Simone, witness to a masterclass in pure, unconditional fatherly devotion. But behind the velvet curtains of the gospel music elite, a completely different script was cooking in the dark. A messy plot that Warryn Campbell, a veteran who has navigated the absolute peaks and valleys of this dirty industry, refused to hide any longer. He didn't pull up to the function with vague rumors. He didn't bring weak he said she said commentary. He showed up with a thick manila folder. A folder packed with the exact kind of tea that doesn't just burn, it completely terminates. We are talking DNA tracking, genetic line analysis, and calendar timelines that straight up make zero sense. As the paperwork flipped, the oxygen in the room evaporated. You could literally watch the horrific reality hit every single witness. The icon the public praised as a legendary family man was chilling on a foundation made of pure dust. Why drop this now? That is the chaotic question running through everyone's mind. Why would a major player so deeply rooted in this circle choose to yank the pin out of this specific explosive? Insiders close to the drama hint that the burden of the charade was turning toxic. Look, in a circle that markets itself on faith, on the historic Mary brand, and on the pristine illusion of the flawless gospel marriage, a deception of this magnitude is a total wrap. His sudden exposure wasn't petty hate, it was an act of cold, clinical execution. He slammed that paperwork down like a judge declaring a final verdict. The data points to a messy timeline that Teddy Campbell is completely losing his mind over. It proves that while he was pouring his heart, his bag, and his entire brand into raising Leah Simone, the biological reality was miles away. Can you picture the absolute chill of that realization? The exact moment a man discovers that every single milestone, every graduation, every sweet holiday card was trapped inside a simulated reality that never existed? That paperwork didn't just drop a genetic fact, it exposed a whole decade of calculated fraud. But while this completely shattered his world, the collateral damage for Tina Campbell was a total train wreck. She has always been the anchor. She is the iconic wife who saved her marriage through wild affairs, public embarrassment, and absolute hell. She thought she survived the worst of it. She assumed the chaotic scandals were ancient history. But as she leaned over that conference table, her eyes scanning the cold, sterile data on the paperwork, her knees completely quit on her. Eyewitnesses claim it wasn't a standard pass-out, it was a total bodily shutdown. It was the horrific sound of a woman's heart shattering in real time. This wasn't just tea for the shade room comments, this was the tactical demolition of her safe space. Watching your man, the person you fought and bled for, realize his entire journey as a father might be a total fiction, it was overwhelming. She didn't just collapse to the tiles, she fell completely out of the reality she inhabited. The star, typically so vocal and powerful, was reduced to a pile of quiet, trembling trauma. And there he stood. The musician who can command any rhythm, any drum pattern, any stadium crowd, yet he couldn't survive this. The total radio silence from his team since the incident has been absolutely deafening. Word on the street is he hasn't uttered a syllable in days. How do you talk when the basic words daughter and father have been completely deleted from your vocabulary? How do you look at your wife weeping on the floor and promise her it's fine, when your own genes are screaming that your life is a scam? This isn't a basic clickbait headline. This is a literal funeral service for a family's boundaries. As we look closer into this legal paperwork, the conversation flips from "is this legit?" to a much nastier question: who else was in on it? The initial blast has cleared, but the toxic fumes? The smoke is still absolutely suffocating every single player involved. When a mansion burns down, you don't just stare at the rubble, you hunt for the arsonist. And right now, the entire internet is staring at the debris of this gospel empire, trying to figure out who sparked the match. The visual of her dropping, a woman whose brand was built on being an untouchable survivor, has become the creepy mascot for this entire disaster. But as the initial panic cools down, a messy, way more calculated curiosity is taking over. The industry is starting to whisper. In the shady VIP sections of the business, the debate isn't even about the paternity test anymore. It's about the strategy. He didn't just accidentally trip over this paperwork, he brought it to light with a calculation that felt incredibly targeted. Was this a move to protect the circle, or was it a cold, premeditated takedown? As the music business watches in absolute shock, the spotlight has locked entirely onto the man caught in the eye of the storm. The culture is starting to gossip. In the shady corners of the business, the debate isn't even about the paternity test anymore. It's about the strategy. Warryn Campbell didn't just accidentally trip over this paperwork, he brought it to light with a calculation that felt incredibly targeted. Was this a move to protect the circle, or was it a cold, premeditated takedown? As the music business watches in absolute shock, the spotlight has locked entirely onto the man caught in the eye of the storm, Teddy Campbell. Teddy can't handle it. That was the major headline. But what does it actually mean when a man of his legendary status completely loses his mind over something? It means the reality he has told himself for nearly 2 decades has been totally deleted. Every memory of Leia Simone's childhood, the first steps, the school recitals, the quiet moments of father-daughter bonding, is now poisoned with the bitter taste of a fraud. But here is the massive conspiracy that is keeping fans awake at night. Did he secretly know? Think about it. In a marriage that has already survived the heavy fires of wild affairs and intense public scrutiny, secrets are rarely absolute. There are insiders who claim that he had been living with a nagging doubt, a dark shadow in the back of his mind that he was too terrified to illuminate. They suggest that the devastating news wasn't a surprise to his soul, but a confirmation of his ultimate fear. If he knew, then his silence for all these years wasn't a choice, it was a sacrifice. He chose to be a father to a child that wasn't his, even if it meant living a simulation that would eventually consume him. But if he didn't know, we are looking at one of the most brutal betrayals in the history of modern music. To raise a child as your own, to give them your name, your legacy, and your heart, only to find out through a third party that the blood in their veins isn't yours, that is a level of agony that words cannot touch. This is why the industry is completely paralyzed. This isn't just basic celebrity news, this is a gut-wrenching look at the ultimate fragility of family. And then there is the chaotic Warryn Campbell factor. Why would a brother-in-law, a close confidant, be the person to pull the trigger on this? Some say he couldn't stand the hypocrisy anymore. Others suggest that the data was leaked to force a reckoning that was long overdue. Whatever the reason, the damage is done. The historic Mary brand, built on the pillars of truth and gospel, is now facing its absolute darkest hour. How do you sing about the Lord's truth when your own family is a labyrinth of dirty secrets? The toxic fallout is reaching way beyond just him and Tina Campbell. It's hitting the fans who looked up to them. It's hitting the kids who are watching their parents' universe dissolve on social media timelines. As we look at the documents provided, the cold language of non-paternity feels like a surgical blade. It doesn't account for the tears. It doesn't account for the years of deep love. It only accounts for the science. But science can't explain the look in his eyes. Science can't explain why she hit the floor like she had been shot. As we wait for a formal statement, a statement that may never come, we are left with the chilling reality that some secrets are meant to stay buried. Because once they are unearthed, there is no going back. The family is changed forever. The father is lost, the mother is broken, and the daughter is caught in the middle of a war she never requested. We have reached the end of the road, but for them, the journey through the wreckage is just beginning. When the camera stops rolling and the likes on social media fade away, they are left standing in a house that no longer feels like home. The point of no return isn't a phrase, it is a physical reality. Once the word bombshell is used, once the DNA documents are laid bare, the innocence of this house is gone forever. You can't hear a truth that rewrites your history. You can't see the papers that say your life was a total fabrication. The tragedy here isn't just about the biology, it's about the death of a legacy. For years, they represented the gold standard of the gospel community. They were the couple that survived the fire. But this isn't a fire you can walk out of. This is an earthquake that has swallowed the very ground they stand on. As she remains in seclusion, the world is forced to watch a woman of God grapple with a betrayal that feels completely godless. What happens to Leah Simone now? This is the most heartbreaking chapter of the story. Caught in the crossfire of adult secrets and industry egos, she is the silent victim. Does a piece of paper change the years of tucked-in blankets and fatherly advice? Legally, maybe. Emotionally, it's a scar that may never heal. The narrative isn't just about his ego, it's about his grief for a relationship that has been redefined against his will. Sources say the tension between Warryn Campbell and Teddy Campbell has reached a boiling point. The brotherhood that once anchored the entire empire is fractured beyond repair. The decision to drop this bombshell has drawn a permanent line in the sand. On one side, those who believe the truth must be told at any cost. On the other, those who believe some secrets are better left in the grave to protect the innocent. There is no middle ground here. There is only a family divided, a wife broken, and a father who is searching for a version of himself that no longer exists. As we close this investigation, we have to look in the mirror. Why are we so captivated by their pain? Perhaps because this story reflects our deepest fears, the fear that the people we love the most are keeping secrets we can't survive. He didn't just lose a daughter, he lost his sense of reality. She didn't just collapse, she surrendered to the weight of a life built on a lie. The documents are on the table. The bombshell has exploded. The fallout is radioactive. As the industry moves on to the next scandal, they are left in the silence of their own shattered truth. Is there a path to forgiveness? Or is this the final curtain call for one of gospel's most iconic families? Before you click away, we want to hear from you. This is a heavy one. If you were in his shoes, would you want to know the truth, or would you rather live the lie to keep your family together? And Warryn Campbell, was he a hero for revealing the truth, or a villain for destroying a home? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about it, but please, keep it respectful. This is a family's life, and right now, they are hurting. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories the industry tries to hide. Until next time, stay searching for the truth, no matter how much it hurts. We've laid out the facts, we've shown you the documents, and we've witnessed the devastating moment the family changed forever. But now, the most important part of this story begins with you. You see, stories like this aren't just about celebrities or music legends, they are about the raw, fragile nature of the truth. We often ask for the truth at any cost, but when the cost is a child's identity and a mother's sanity, was it worth it? We want you to stop for a second and really think about that. If you were Teddy Campbell, would you thank him for pulling back the curtain? Or would you wish the secret had stayed buried to save the only family you've ever known? And what about Tina Campbell? After everything she has fought for, does a family ever truly recover from a collapse this public, this deep, and this painful? We are opening up the comments right now because we want this to be a space for real conversation. Tell us your thoughts, but please, remember there are real hearts breaking behind these headlines. If this deep dive moved you, if it made you think, or if it touched your heart, please hit that like button. It helps us continue to bring these untold stories to light. If you haven't already, join our community by hitting subscribe and turning on that notification bell. We don't just cover the news, we uncover the soul of the industry. Don't let the truth stay hidden. Stay tuned, stay curious, and most importantly, stay compassionate. Thank you for watching, for listening, and for being part of this journey. We'll see you in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care of each other.